Oh, hey, we're back. Time for another light novel of the episode.
This stuff's pretty gruesome. Viewer discretion is advised.
Don't look away. Wah. Look at that. That guy looks like a ruffian. He's got his little soul patch. Or is his mouth just agape?
His mouth's open.
He looks like he's a little freaked. Somebody, please save me. Gonna cut her head off now?
Maybe.
We get to watch him murder them all.
Something
And then
like
watch Ayumi gets to go through the pain of having her eye and tongue removed. But it's all a memory, so she'll be fine. He collects tongues because he can't speak.
No, stop! No! Please, no!
Please, no! You alright there, Yoshikazu?
He's not doing so good.
Don't seem like it. Oh, her eyeball was gone.
No, I can't
I saw it.
see.
There's just a black socket.
That's a blindfold.
Oh, that could be. Oh.
Now I'm blindfolded. I can't see a thing that's happening to me. And since my hands and feet are tied up, I can't remove the blindfold either.
That's true.
That just makes everything so much worse.
That's true.
I guess because I can't see, I begin to listen more intently.
Yep. Listen to this sawing. Yeah, I wonder though, what really made this guy break to just do something like this?
Mental illness. The helpless cries of the other children echo off the walls of the cramped room. I'm so scared it feels like my head's going to explode.
No, someone's head's going to explode.
What are you doing to me? Why am I blindfolded? Untie me. Cut the ropes. I want to be able to use my hands and feet. Please. Please.
Please?
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 I kept begging and pleading, but all I heard in response was the man walking away from me.
Oh.
In order. Okay.
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 Babe? Ruth?
In order.
Yeah, go down the line and mutilate him. Something.
Rip a boyo.
And there goes tongue.
I've never heard screaming like this before. It's pure primal terror, cutting through the air like a perfect sine wave. It's the boy at the end. It feels like he's been screaming for an eternity. I think he's being killed right now.
Oh no. Are they just beating him?
My God.
Hammer.
What the hell is he doing to him? No one deserves this. Why isn't God allowing him to fall unconscious so he doesn't have to suffer?
That sounds like some clubbing. Or stabbing. It's been going on for a while there.
It's been at least a half an hour now.
Dang.
Those inhuman screams of a young boy being ripped apart from the inside. Had finally come to a halt.
No. I got that one.
Without even a single moment of silence, the first of the girls in line is the next one to scream for her life, and the symphony goes on.
Goes on and on and on and on. Did he murder them all first and then dismember them?
I don't know.
Seems like.
Either way, it's pretty messed up.
Pretty, yeah.
God, I can't take any more of this. I'm losing my mind. Stop it.
Stop it!
Is it still going on? Come on, just die already.
Wow.
Die already? God, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't care. Just get it over with and leave me in peace.
That ain't gonna happen. Squelch.
Finally, After hearing a sound like a heavy object being dropped, the noises stopped, and the room grew quiet again.
My turn. Thump,
Thump, thump, thump. Those footsteps are getting closer. All my hair is standing on end at this point. Everything below my stomach feels like it's frozen, like I've suddenly been stricken with severe diarrhea.
Yes.
In order. God, why am I relieved to be silent by the silence? The kid next to me just died, which means it's my turn now. Ah! Someone's got me by the hair, pulling my head up and taking off my blindfold, which means I get to see the face of my killer.
Now we get a nasty CG of him. 4 missing children were found in a basement room at Heavenly House Elementary School, unused and officially sealed since the building's construction. When authorities entered, they were greeted with an inhumanly horrific sight. Based upon the evidence at hand, the murder weapon was determined to be a pair of large sewing scissors found in the hands of the accused. Investigators suspected some hesitation on the man's part. However, as the deceased victim's wounds did not indicate that his full strength had been used. Nonetheless, he had clearly acted with extreme malicious intent. The official cause of death for the 3 murdered children has been listed as loss of blood following removal of the tongue. But the actual state of affairs was not quite so clinical, nor even so pleasant, if you can believe it. The following details have been extrapolated from information previously unreleased to the public, or at least previously unreported by news outlets. The details of the crime are based on the official police testimony of Sachiko Shinozaki herself. Evidently, the victims were bound, blindfolded, and spaced out on the floor, then killed one by one. One was repeatedly stabbed in the abdomen with the aforementioned pair of scissors, then had many of his internal organs forcefully dug out. His discarded innards were found partially buried beneath the earthen floor of the basement room. Another was stabbed in the head dozens upon dozens of times, to such an extent that all the flesh and bone above her jawline was essentially minced away.
With my blindfold removed, the sight that appeared before me was more horrific than anything I could possibly have imagined. The person staring back at me, brandishing a blood-soaked pair of sewing scissors, wasn't the large man from earlier at all. It was one of the children.
Oh, was it the girl in the red?
The plot twist of a lifetime. It was the little girl, her face dyed red with the blood of her victims.
Plot twist.
She was staring intently at me with soulless gray eyes, and then she just started giggling.
Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Yoshikazu's a victim. She was opening and closing the bloodied scissors over and over again, and the sound kept echoing through the room. Then she took those dull, rusty, thoroughly blood-soaked blades and slowly brought them closer and closer to my left eye. Well said, Yoshikazu.
Yes.
How?
Very eloquent.
Why? Why is it you?
Sachiko.
The giggles of Sachiko. No! No! No!
That makes sense why she didn't die.
Yeah. The lone survivor.
Well, what happened to Yoshikazu then? The 3rd victim was stabbed in the left eye an indeterminate number of times. Till her eyeball became soup-like in consistency. She was eventually just left like that, slowly bleeding to death in horrible agony. Strangely, it was only after these mutilations had already been inflicted that the killer went back and severed the victims' tongues.
So, like you guessed.
Yeah. Murdered first, then the tongues came out. Learning the truth about these proceedings is shocking even to me and makes it nearly impossible to accept the murderer as anything but a monster.
Yeah.
And bearing witness to every moment of this was a 7-year-old girl named Sachiko. In many ways, she was the most pitiable and long-suffering of them all. but it was through her tearful, frightened testimony that Yoshikazu Yanagihori was officially charged. Going back to the hunt for information on this unfortunate girl's whereabouts, it was her words that ultimately led to Yoshikazu's sentencing.
Of course it was.
Therefore,
he can't defend himself.
Yep. Therefore, it comes as no real surprise that sensitive information pertaining to her and her family would be withheld. That's to be expected. What's not expected, however, is that there's not even the slightest trace of this information left to find. It's as if it simply never existed. Therefore, I cannot help but consider alternate possible explanations, and I remind you, this is mere conjecture. But one question keeps nagging at the back of my mind. Was Yoshikazu Yanagihori really the murderer of the 3 victims? Is it possible the crime was not actually perpetrated by him at all? Think about it. In his final days, Yoshikazu was incapable of communicating with others through speech. And despite his childlike aversion, he'd always been a personable and friendly man. As the saying goes, he wouldn't have hurt a fly. All his relatives, friends, and neighbors confirmed as much, shocked to hear that such a kindly man could commit these unconscionable atrocities. He certainly had no motive for the crime either. There was nothing for him to gain from it.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, he may simply have lost his mind. Look at his father. It was around the same time that the principal, Takamine Yanagihori, had suddenly began speaking in tongues and acting in most peculiar ways. Not to mention scribbling incomprehensible gibberish all over his walls, as if possessed.
Things like make us whole.
Yeah, he seemed frightened of someone, and would often be found crouching in the corner of his office, moaning and thrashing when visitors came by. If he could wind up in such a beleaguered state, with no warning, then perhaps so too could his son. I believe that we're looking at a curse far more powerful than anything man could devise. From the time it opened its doors to the day it closed them forever. Heavenly Host Elementary School's sealed basement room has existed as some form of cursed ground. And to find the underlying cause, we must go back beyond the infamous kidnapping and murder incident. Back a whole 20 years. I believe I may have found a clue that could shed some light on the situation. It may be a bit far-fetched as leads go, but it's a lead nonetheless. Regrettably, since Heavenly Host was not only closed down but demolished altogether and another school built in its place, it's no longer possible to investigate the basement room directly. But my protege has found what may be the next best thing. Something that could make the impossible possible once more. Preparations are being made to pursue this lead even now. But be sure not to miss the next installment. It may be the scoop of a lifetime. Kawakibiki, 2003, 7/22.
And there it is. The big, huge reveal.
Mm-hmm. Continued in Chapter 5. Nice. Isn't that jam?
Mm-hmm.
So that really makes me wonder, though.
3
Why
hours
were the
into
kids?
that chapter, dude.
Why were the kids locked up in this basement? And why was Yoshikaze aware of this? Because he was clearly in the basement with them tied up.
Right.
Unless he just found them like that and he was going to, like, get help or something, or...
Just have to play the game.
That's the thing. It's obvious that Sachiko wasn't bound.
Right.
Because how would she have gotten up otherwise then?
Yep.
So, did she bind those 3 and lay herself down there too, and then Yoshikaze found them? Or was trying to go and get help or something? That's weird.
Good questions.
Yeah. It gets the noggin going.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that was a long chapter too. 3 hours and 5 minutes, jeez.
You'll just have to see how it all winds up in Chapter 5.
Yeah, which I'm assuming is also going to be a long chapter. Probably a lot more lore dumping. But yeah, definitely some quite the twists.
Mm-hmm.
A lot going on there. A lot to digest. Quite gruesome.
Yeah. It's a real mess.
And then that still brings me to the question of Sachiko wasn't killed. Why is her ghost there? Is she part of the curse somehow that makes her spirit manifest there, or what's going on?
Yep, there are still questions that need to be answered, that's for sure.
There are a lot of questions, yes. Alright, well, if you enjoyed the bloodshed, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, we'll continue to the 5th chapter next time.
We're coming to the big finish of the game.
Oh yeah, things are getting hype. Alrighty, well y'all have a good one.
Yep, bye-bye.